In 1963, a family packed 7 kids, 2 adults, and a collie into a Chevy Nomad station wagon and left Pennsylvania for California, driving through heat, mountains, long stretches of highway, all to start a new life. Now, the station wagon had to be prepared for the journey. If they didn't prepare properly, they might not make it to their destination. Why in the world am I telling you this? Because that's exactly what you're doing with your garden right now. The fall plants you're getting started now have a journey ahead of them, from August heat to changing weather in the fall, all the way to harvest. If you don't get them planted right and growing strong now, some of them might not make the trip. And by the way, Camera Guy's family made it to California. So let me show you the 4 things I'm doing in my garden right now, because if you skip these tasks in August, you could lose weeks of growing time. So where do you start? Before you plant anything, check the finish line. And what I mean by this is make sure that vegetable has enough time to actually make it to harvest. Otherwise, you could end up with nothing. If you skip this check, you may not have enough growing time left to start over. This is where August planting advice gets confusing. Don't just Google, can I plant cucumbers in August? The real question is, can you plant cucumbers in your climate in August? So say a gardener in Texas wants one more round of cucumbers. The seed packet says 55 days to harvest, and my Texas gardener still has 60 days of warm weather ahead. I would plant that cucumber for sure, but say a gardener in Idaho, in a northern climate, is looking at that same cucumber. It needs 55 days, and they may only have about 42 good growing days of warm weather before frost. I wouldn't plant it here. I would save that space for something else. So the question isn't, can I plant cucumbers in August? It is, can I plant this cucumber with the weather I have left? And you don't want to cut it too close. Cooler nights and shorter days in the fall can definitely slow those warm season crops down. And if you're short on time, you got to change the plan. Choose a quicker variety or use a transplant for a head start. And you've got to figure that out now. If you wait 6 weeks to discover you chose wrong, you've lost 6 weeks you can't get back. And if you're thinking, Kim, which variety should I plant with the time I have left? I've got you covered here. My fall garden seed collection is built around varieties with shorter seed to harvest times. Crops chosen to give you a better shot at reaching that harvest when you start them in August. But you still do need to check your own weather and frost dates, but I've already done the variety selection for you. I'll link my fall garden seed collection below, but choosing the wrong variety won't help you if you get started too late. Next, get your fall crop started before fall actually arrives. That's the key. If you wait until it feels cool outside, you're really taking a big chance. Now, don't make the opposite mistake and sow cool weather crops like broccoli straight into blazing hot August soil. Poor germination can cost you a week or 2 you don't have here. Instead, start longer season crops like broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, and kale indoors about 4 to 6 weeks before your weather cools off. That gives them a head start while it's still hot outside, so when cooler weather arrives, they're already growing and ready to move into the garden. And those extra weeks may be exactly what gets them to harvest. Now, if your seedlings outgrow their cells while it's too hot to plant them in the garden, pot them up into larger containers so they can keep growing. And remember to harden them off before planting them outside. For more crops you can start this month, watch my What to Plant in August video linked below. And this is exactly why I put together my brand new Fall Garden Jumpstart Playbook and Seed Bundle to make this whole process a whole lot simpler. You get the digital playbook with instant access no matter where you're at in the world, plus 16 fall garden varieties, so you know exactly what to plant, when to plant it, and what to do next. And right now, the first 20 people who grab the bundle get my $20 lettuce seed collection absolutely free. Before you make room for those fall crops though, don't pull your summer plants yet. Some may still have another harvest left in them. Next, what you want to do here in August is take a look at your summer plants and decide which ones are still worth keeping and which ones are absolutely toast and are done. If you leave a plant that's done for another few weeks, you've lost growing time and space for your next crop. Now, what I like to do is look for 3 things: healthy new growth, flowers or developing fruit, and pests or disease I can realistically control. So take this tomato here, it's looking pretty sad. There's barely any new growth, no new flowers, no new tomatoes. It's gotten so beat up by the heat this past month, and the disease is literally taking over this plant. As hard as it is, this one's done. I'd rather pull it now and make room for fall or for another quick summer crop than spend a whole nother month caring for a plant that isn't going to produce anyway. But this pepper plant here is a whole different story. It has healthy growth, flowers, peppers coming on, so this one is definitely staying. Now it does have a few aphids, but it's very manageable. I'm going to use Monterey Takedown because it kills on contact, so I can spray the aphids I see and be done with it. I'll spray it in the evening when the pollinators aren't as active, and that will also avoid UV damage to the plant. So if your plant is still producing and the problems are manageable, don't pull it too soon. There's no reason to pull a healthy plant that's still giving you a harvest. And if it's staying, there's one more thing it needs from you in August. Last August task here, keep feeding the plants that are still producing. And you don't want to skip this one. These plants have been producing all summer and they still need some food to keep going. Now this pepper obviously is doing really well and definitely still has more harvest in it. And I don't want it running out of gas before it gets there. It's been growing and producing all summer. So I've got to replenish the soil with fresh bumper crop potting mix. Now for my peppers in my raised bed here, I would use bumper crop raised bed mix. That adds some fresh organic matter back into the soil. And then I'm going to add some bumper crop tomato and vegetable plant food. I really like granular fertilizer here at this time of the year because it feeds over time and will help this pepper keep on growing, flowering, and setting fruit for the rest of the season. Super easy to apply. I just work it in around the plant and water everything in really well. It gives it a really nice, good boost. So I get lots more peppers out of these plants this summer and well into the fall. So here's what I want you to do this week. Grab my Fall Garden Jumpstart Playbook and seed bundle at CaliKimGardenandHome.com and get your fall garden plan into place. The first 20 people get my $20 lettuce seed collection free too. And don't put those August jobs off. A couple of weeks from now, you don't want to be looking at your garden thinking, I should have done that sooner. Get them done now while you still have growing time. Now next week, we're getting into what to plant in September, so make sure you come back for that one. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time in the garden.